All right, let's go ahead and get this started. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast. For today's episode 265, we're going to be discussing the topic, This Could Change Your Life. And I'm going to be speaking on this because this is something that I personally truly believe. I do believe in trying to help you guys win, and I do believe this is one of the ways that makes the most sense in today's time. And if you're not doing this, I think you're making a very, very very interesting mistake. And I'm going to say it's a mistake because there's such a big opportunity out there, and yet there's so many people who are still not acting on this. So I think it is that much more important for me to mention on today's episode. If you do not know who I am, my name is Champ, and I help men win. Period. Point blank. Period. I'm giving you guys some of the best pieces of advice that I've ever used in my own personal life, and also that I've helped to use, or rather, I've used to help other people as well. So, for today's topic, like I said, this could change your life. I want to discuss the concept of. Hold on, let me turn that down a little bit. I want to discuss the concept of creating a personal brand, creating content, any of that. That avenue that a lot of people are obviously, a lot of people are diving it into, but but like 90% of the people that exist aren't. So the content creation is getting dominated by a very very small minority. We'll just say 10%, but it's really probably like less than a percent. Um, but I do believe this could change your life in many different ways. I'll go ahead and describe them here in a second. But you must ask yourself the question, why? Why would you not want to do that? Let me ask you that question. When it comes to creating a personal brand in 2026, in today's society, with today's economy, with today's status, with all that shit, right? Why does it? If you're a person that's against this completely, just simply ask the question, what else could you be doing? Why is it a bad idea? And more importantly, what are the better options in your opinion than to create content in today's society? Because from what I personally see, this allows for so much, and obviously it's contingent on the fact that you know, are consistent. It's contingent on the fact that you must have somewhat of a moment that blows up, that you actually get a community eventually that will happen, right? It's contingent on a lot of different things, but in the very very without saying too much, the scale up that could be from you posting content is literally endless. You could meet people. Creating content can put you in rooms you never thought you would be in. It could allow you to meet people and for people to be curious about you in ways in which you could never ever capture if you tried to go the traditional route. And which brings me to my next point, right? So why would you do this? Why wouldn't you do this? Why would you take a conventional route that everyone has taken before you? If you're making, and I always have this kind of debate a little bit when it comes to jobs and making a career and things like that, choosing what you want to do with your life, essentially, right? If you're choosing something in 2026 in today's society with today's economy with everything, right? If you're choosing something that your grandfather could have chose, you have made a very very vital mistake. If you're going to college in today's economy, if you're going to colleges in today's world, it literally makes no sense. It's literally one of the I'm not gonna say least ROI, but I'll say the ROI of going to college, the ROI of extended, what is it? Whether it's extended, we'll call them. I like to call them slave structures. That's what I'll call them for today. Essentially, something where somebody's telling you what to do, telling what you can and what you can't do, right? So this could look like um, going to college, even having a job. This could look like going into the military, any branch of the military. This could look like going into trades for the most part, right? I think these are all useful to the average person, but if we're being real, right? And I'm not coming on here to go on the mic to talk to the average person. I'm coming here talking to the person that actually wants to develop something in their life that's actually worthwhile, that actually lasts, and maybe even outlast them. Okay? So when I'm talking to y'all, you must understand that choosing one of these things that like I said, your grandfather could have chose is to be very naive to what's going on in the world today. To be very, very closed off to the endless potentiality that is creating a personal brand, right? I believe personally, creating a personal brand, creating content is one of the highest ROI things that exist right now, that you can be doing right now, next to working out, switching your food, and I had one more. Let me see if I can find it. I had it in a note right here. The gym, creating a personal brand, and building a skill of mastery. So these things, just like creating content, like you, they all are getting you to participate in different status games that are truly worthwhile in today's society, at least the pursuit of them, right? If you go to the gym, for example, this is something I referenced a little bit more in my past podcast that I had just did on last Thursday. But essentially, I'll just get back on topic. Building a personal brand is one of the highest ROI things you could do, just for the potential of the endless possibilities that can exist, right? Um, and not doing that is literally, like I said, dropping the ball when it comes to trying to seek an opportunity where your life could potentially change and you no longer have to attend to the slave system that is. You understand that. This can get you out. And when I say highest upside, I'm not just saying money. I'm saying opportunity. I'm saying skill. I'm saying networking. I'm saying creativity. I'm talking in terms of freedom, right? That allows you a certain freedom that you wouldn't be able to get literally doing anything else. There's people who are less smart than you, who are less interesting, who are making money doing exactly what you would like to do in terms of creating content, who are talking about the same things that you're interested in, who are talking with maybe the same or even less passion than you. So why not you? Why could that not be you? That's always been my mindset. I see a lot of people looking up to a lot of different people, and I said to myself, well, why the hell would you not even try to attempt it? That doesn't make any sense in today's society. With if you're even decently perspicacious, if you're even decently a good observer of what's going on, that's just what makes sense. To do anything outside of that is to literally be dropping the ball, like I said. So I want to reference this because I mentioned it as one of the many things in terms of the ROI, but in terms of genuine freedom, you cannot have anything else that's going to allow you to have the freedom that could come of what you could do if you potentially actually dedicated yourself to something for once, right? I'm not even saying it has to be content creation. Just dedicate yourself to something, right? Truly dedicate yourself to something and don't leave anything on the table, right? For me, the avenue that I've chosen is the one that makes the most sense to me. And honestly, if people are being honest with themselves, would make a lot more sense to a lot more people if they decided to go and do it. If they got over their very, very weird insecurities and just actually fucking tried to do something for once, dedicated their life to doing something for once. For me personally, in terms of my content creation, I've had this podcast for about 4 years. I'm going to be going on 5 years on, I think, beginning of next year, if I'm not mistaken. So I have over 265 podcasts to date, and I have over almost 900 videos posted. And that's just on YouTube. I have over probably 500 videos posted on TikTok. I have another maybe 100 on Instagram at least, maybe even more than that. Right now, I've also attended the public speaking challenge, Higher Up Wellness. This guy named Higher Up Wellness, and this other guy that I really, really enjoy right now. This guy named Jet Franzen, very, very good content creators. They essentially participated or started this challenge, Higher Up Wellness Challenge, 100-day public speaking challenges. Pretty much talk about whatever you would like for 60 seconds or whatever it is. So that's what I've been doing. I'm on day 22. I haven't posted anything today because the film session that I had earlier wasn't the best. But regardless, I think just trying to start something, and even if it's starting just that, right? Can you post? Can you film yourself and can you post something for 100 days straight? If you can't do that, then you should not want financial freedom. You should not want any of these things. Um, and I know that sounds very, very drastic and it sounds very, very ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, if you want to take this path and you can't see yourself doing that, it literally makes no sense. So, yes. Um, and I wanna reiterate this because I seen Dan Coe talk about this the other day, another content creator. He talks about building personal brands, essentially some similar, more business oriented, I guess you could say, as opposed to me, but relatively similar, kind of similar content. He talked about the concept of what happens if it takes years for you to build your personal brand? And he goes, what the fuck else could you be doing? What the fuck else could you be doing with your time outside of building your own personal brand? For me, that makes sense, right? What the fuck else could I be doing? If you look and observe the people that are my age, around my age. So I'm 24. I'll be 25 by the end of this year. People that are around this age or a little bit younger, right? Let's just say 18 to 25. We'll just say 18 to 25. Most people are fucking around. Let's be real. Most people are just fucking around. And that's cool and all for a little bit, but once reality starts to hit you that we're actually getting fucked pretty much most ways by the government, by all the shit. Um it's gonna only make sense for you to try to pursue something that's gonna get you outside of this conventional fucking lifestyle, right? And what I've realized, and this is something that I mentioned on plenty of podcasts before, if you want unconventional result, you must choose an unconventional path. It would seem absolutely ridiculous for you to choose a conventional path and expect an unconventional result. So, if you're somebody right now that wants to pursue something that's above average, why not try this out? Why not give it a shot? You never know where you could be. You never know who you could be, and more importantly, and I think that's very, very important. And if you look at it today, right, the name of the game today is being creative. Number one, being passionate with what you speak about, and actually having a true dedicated interest to something, right? If you're able to do all these things on a long enough time scale, you're going to see somewhat of a success over time, right? And at the very least, right? At the very least, you could you could do some of the things in which I've done, right? So I haven't seen as much success from this as I would like, but my definition of success has been always evolving and always changing. Um, but the one element that has stayed fairly consistent is essentially the character development, right? Because that's what you do anything for, anyways, right? Is character development, right? You want to see progress within the person that you are, the character that you bring to the table, right? So for me personally, I've seen a lot of growth. I've started to understand my morals, my values, what I believe in, what I'm truly passionate about, what I'm truly interested in by doing this podcast. And I don't believe I could have ever fully embodied what that looked like unless I had did that. Truly. And I want to share that with the world. I want to help. I want to use that source of energy, that source of creativity, that source of passion to help people out. That's why I say it at all the podcasts. My name is Champ, and I help men win. This is my purpose. This is what I'm here to do. And yeah, so essentially, at the very least, right? Who could you become? Who could you even be if you decided to dedicate yourself to something, or if you decided to dedicate yourself to content creation? Who could you become? That's something that is very, very intriguing at the very least. Let alone all the recognition or all the whatever, right? Whatever you could get out of that, all the status and whatever, all the money, all that, right? That you can get from this potential opportunity. Um, but what I will say, and I'll say this with anything, right? You must be willing to put in at least 5 years of very dedicated work with no recognition, and that's just it, right? For me personally, I've dedicated a large amount of my time, a large amount of my brain power to building this, to being on the constant pursuit of trying to gain this skill, trying to level up my creativity, to level up my speech, and level up what I believe in truly. And if you're going to do this, if you're going to attempt this, just with anything else in general, right? Do it with good and pure intent. Don't do it only seeking the result of that, right? Like I mentioned, you must be willing to put in 5 years of hard work, of hard, consistent work, where it almost doesn't even make any sense for you to be on the constant pursuit of doing this for you to actually be worth shit. And of course, I'm not saying everyone's going to be that case where you're going to put in 5 years and nothing's going to come out of it, right? Because like I mentioned, right, you can at least get the character development, if not more than that. You see what I'm saying? But in my opinion and through my experience, it has absolutely been worth it, right? Like I mentioned, I haven't got as much recognition as I would like, but at the very least, I've been able to build a character that can hopefully tell a story, or hopefully be able to better put myself in a position of when I have a conversation with somebody, they can actually see the true character of who I am and who I built for myself, right? And I think that's much more important to me, at the very least, right? What, and then I think about it, right? If I didn't choose this, what the fuck else could I do? Well, truly, what else could I do? What makes the most sense? What is on the pursuit of different levels of freedom? More than me actually coming on here and speaking with passion and trying to help people out. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, and I'd say for most people, if they're truly being honest with themselves, you could find purpose within this. Truly, I truly believe that there's people that you're interested in, there's people that you're drawn to that are speaking passionately about a subject that you truly are interested in. Why can't you do exactly what they do, and maybe you even do it better? Who's to say that you couldn't do it? Only you. So everybody has their own interests, and you know, somebody finds your interest. If you find your own interest interesting, just know there's going to be at least 10 guys, in the world that also find that interesting, no matter how crazy it is. So, um, yeah, so, and even the basics, right? Just understanding your morals and values, and what you believe in. Those are huge things in life, right? When it comes to trying to understand your character, to try to understand who you are, that is such a great foundation at the very least, right? And all I have to say, my main pieces of advice would be this, man. Be consistent, make iterations. That's probably one mistake that I've made, is I haven't really made a gigantic amount of iterations. My content material has been getting better. I've been pretty decently consistent, but I could obviously be more consistent. But be consistent, make iterations, establish a structure, and you need to dream. Truly, you need to dream. And I'm not saying go to sleep and have a dream. I'm saying truly believe in what you're doing. Truly believe that it will work out. Do not create a plan B, because if you create a plan B, you've already created a way out and you've already lost. Stick to something, dedicate yourself to something, be disciplined, be consistent, and who knows what could happen. You could be the biggest content creator that no one has ever seen, right? Who actually knows? But here's the thing: until you actually do it and actually are on the pursuit of it, is when we can find out who you are and who you're not. Simple as that, right? But if you even have an inkling of wanting anything that is decent in this life, truly, like I said, with the state of economy, with the state of a lot of things that are going on right now, if you're a decent observer of what's going on in the world right now, if you want a decent portion of what everyone else is having, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to look like taking the conventional route that you could have took 20 years ago. I'm just telling you right now, make a modernized decision, whether it has to do with investing in AI or something like that, man. Something that's going to exist within the next 10 years. I think I could at least say, and maybe this is a crazy prediction. I think I predict that content creation is still going to be around in 10 years. So, who knows though, right? Who knows with all the crazy things that are going on. But at the very least, hope you took some value from this video. Hopefully, if you're on the fence of doing this, I'm going to tell you right now, just do it. You don't want to leave anything on the table. You don't want to feel regretful. Just do it. If you have the slightest inclination to be like, you know what? I am passionate about this, and I watch a lot of people that make videos like this. I was thinking I can potentially make some videos like it. Make some videos. Make some videos. I'm telling you right now, no matter how cringe, no matter all the things that you must overcome, the person that you could be on the outside of that is somebody that is truly worth respecting, in my opinion. So make some content. Let me see if I left anything out specifically that's important. Like I said, what the fuck else could you be doing better? Everyone, no matter what pursuit that they're on, everyone wants a personal brand. That's the game. Everyone wants social relevance. Everyone wants that status. Everyone wants a personal brand that's decent. From my own understanding, it's very. And if you're the person that disagrees with this, maybe you're the very rare exception to the rule. But I'm like 99% sure that most people, if they're being honest with themselves, they'd want to make money through doing something that they're truly passionate about, that they're truly, truly invested in, something that actually means more, something that gives them purpose, something that gives them fulfillment, right? something that makes them feel like their actual life is worth something, that gives them meaning, right? Like something like that, man. But other than that, let me see. Yeah, that's all I have to say, man. My name is Champ. Make sure you go and follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Rumble, Spotify, Kick, Twitch, all of it. At Life of a Champ, at Life of a Champ podcast, or at Life of a Champ dot underscore, pretty much on every single platform. And other than that, this was episode 265 of the Life of a Champ podcast, talking about the concept that could potentially change your life if you actually dedicated yourself to something for once. That's all I have to say. Next podcast is going to be on Thursday. I'll be doing another hopeful live on Monday. Hopefully Monday. We'll see. It might be late, but it also might be early. So tap in with that for sure. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Stay tapped in with my daily public speaking challenge that I'll be doing. I'm going to be posting a lot more of the clips. I'm a little bit on the back order right now, but I'm going to be posting a lot more clips, a lot more YouTube shorts of that here very, very soon. If you really want to be updated, go on IG. IG at lifeofachamp._. I'm posting that on there at least every single day. So that's all I have to say, man. Y'all have a good night. Play to win the game. That's all I have to say. Play to win and don't play to not lose. That's it.